Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. My name is Patricia Wang, and I am the Manager of Recruitment and Admissions from UBC Sauder. And thank you for joining us for the PMBA 2027 information session. And I'm seeing a few familiar names from the audience. I know that we've chatted before, and you might have emailed me or we've talked online through a coffee chat. So hopefully today that we will give you more details about the PMBA 2027. And hopefully, you will get all your questions answered today. You might have gotten notification before that we're recording today's session, but it doesn't require video or audio from you. So if you don't wish to be recorded, feel free to turn off your camera for today. As we begin today's webinar, I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge that UBC is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. I'd also like to acknowledge that you are joining us today from many places, near and far, and acknowledge the traditional owners and caretakers of those lands. And today, as we gather virtually from diverse locations, I encourage each of you to take a moment to consider the histories and the lands that you're on and how we can collectively honor those connections in our work and learning. So here is what we will cover for today. So we'll do an overview of the PMBA program. We'll review the options between the in-person and online stream. We'll also talk about the application and admission process. And of course, at the end, we will go over all the questions in our Q&A session. All right. So today we have our Director of Recruitment and Admissions for the Graduate School, Rodrigo Porto. Some of you might have talked to him before. And today he'd like to share a few words with us before we begin. The floor is yours, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Patricia. And hello, everyone. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me well? Awesome. All right. My name is Rodrigo, and I'm the Director of Recruitment Admissions here at the UBC Sauder. I work very closely with Tina and Patricia on all things PMBA, and oftentimes with many of you as well, from a first initial conversation all the way through an admissions decision. Right? So it's great to see many of you here, and especially at the start of the PMBA journey, potentially for you, now that the application portal is open and live. Patricia asked me to join all of you today and share a few insights on some of the key aspects that make the PMBA, the Professional MBA, a top choice and one of the best part-time MBA degrees in North America. So I'm really excited. And I'll get us started if that's okay. Now that I got the thumbs up that you all can hear me well. Perfect. Thank you. All right. In my conversations with students and applicants, one of the most important things that I often hear about the UBC PMBA is how it is designed for working professionals with both personal and professional busy routines. So when the PMBA was designed, it doesn't expect you to put on pause your professional and your personal lives. Instead, the program is designed to accommodate and ensure that you can actually move forward with your lives and your routines. You can choose between two streams, an in-person and an online stream, and both streams are designed intentionally to deliver the same academic rigor, student experience, faculty access, and they are topped by our in-person residencies. Equally important is who your colleagues are going to be. Who are you learning alongside? So the PMBA cohort is curated very carefully to bring a group of experienced professionals for the past 3-4 years, usually around 10 years of work experience, some a bit less, others with a bit more, and usually representing 15 plus different industry sectors and career pathways. So that perspective is brought into the classroom and makes the discussions very rich and diverse. What I hear consistently from students and alumni is that the discussions and the learning, they don't stop when the class ends. On the contrary, the exchange, the peer exchange, the networking, the group work, and those long-lasting relationships continue to expand. This is not a passive, slow-paced MBA experience. If you join the PMBA, you can expect a room full of people with diverse perspectives who are showing up ready to contribute. You are also joining a top business school network with a real global reach. Sauder is consistently ranked among the top business schools Canada and in the world, and our alumni network, which we are very proud of, with over 50,000 plus alumni worldwide, are really tapped in and a close-knit community. For PMBA graduates and students specifically, opportunities like GNAM, and I know, giving you a heads up, we have a lot of acronyms in the business school. GNAM stands for the Global Network of Advanced Management. That offers you an opportunity to connect you to peer institutions like Berkeley, Yale, and many others across the world. So whether your goals are local, national, or international, the PMBA gives you access to a network of alumni and schools to support you towards those professional and life goals. Finally, last but not least, the professional residencies. They are a signature part of your PMBA journey. These are in-person experiences for both online and in-person stream students who come together around leadership, strategy, business ethics, sustainability, and negotiation, and often where ideas and concepts get activated. And more importantly, relationships and network are expanded as well. So these are some of the key highlights of the PMBA as we learn from students, faculty, and alumni. So if you are here because you're seeking flexibility and accessibility to a strong professional network, career and leadership development, global exposure, or simply you're like, what's next for me? How do I go about the next role or getting new tools to my toolbox? Simply, this is the right place for you. I'll hand it back for Patricia, who's going to walk you through the program in more details. And my invitation to all of you is to stay engaged. I see some questions popping in the chat box already. Ask questions along the session, and I'm happy to hear more and continue your conversations. Patricia, back to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Rodrigo. All right. So I saw from the poll earlier that you're joining us today from many different places. I know that majority of you are still from the greater Vancouver area, but I did see some from our neighbor provinces and the East Coast and a few from the US and also some international cities. So we designed this program, as Rodrigo mentioned, is to take your career further from wherever you are, because we do have the flexible offering between the both in-person and online delivery. And usually when I talk to our prospect students from my coffee chats, and once they start the program, I do a follow-up with them and just to see, why did you choose us and what is the reason that you chose the UBC PMBA program? And I'd like to share some of their feedback and also just a few reasons the reason that they choose the UBC PMBA program. Since 2018, the UBC Sauder Business School have been ranked for the #1 business program in Canada for 8 years in a row now. With the in-person professional residency as the anchor of the program, as Rodrigo mentioned earlier, you'll also be immersed in the experiential learning as well as benefiting from the networking opportunities. And of course, not just with your cohort. Joining the UBC PMBA means that you're joining our massive global network of more than 50,000 alumni around the world, so that you're expanding your connections in different industries. And of course, outside of our classrooms, we have the personalized career coaching, which will be equipping you with the tools and the skill sets that you need for the next step in your career. And last but not least, the program is designed to fit your schedule. Either you choose online or in person. This will allow you to keep your career momentum for other life commitments as well. And when I say that we are ranked #1 business program in Canada for the past 8 years, it's not just a number, it's not just the fluffy number. It means that we do offer our students a world-class academic experience in the MBA program. Our professors are among the highest caliber in their fields, and their work has made our school one of the top in the world for business research. And they have been involved in many researches that drove the Canadian societies forward, So if you're interested, feel free to check out our faculty directory. You'll be able to see some really interesting work that our faculty members have done. And on top of the world-winning faculty, we also have a very strong cohort profiles in the PMBA program. So you will be studying with a group of people who are driven and motivated, who will bring various skill sets and also management experiences to share with you. Here's a glance of our class profiles for the UBC PMBA class of 2028. So these people have just started their journey 2 weeks ago, and they have just completed their residency 1. You can see that out of the 84 students, 53 of them are in the in-person cohort and 31 of them are in the online cohort. And the cohort brings diversity and strengths. So you could see that with the rest of the numbers in the chart, we have a strong women representation and people who hold a global perspectives. The cohort also averages at 10 years of work experience with people coming from more than 15 different employment sectors. One of the questions in the poll was to ask you which sectors you're working in right now. I'm seeing strong numbers today in the session, people from healthcare, government, public sector, mining, engineering, tech. We have all of those sectors represented in our cohort, which means you will be able to share some of your discussions and also to explore things to discuss, not just with people from your own industry, but also with other people who might give you a different perspective in your studies. So this is truly a global and experienced group of professionals from various backgrounds who also bring diverse skill sets into the program. So in your classes, you'll be working in group projects and discussions, which means that you will also learn from your classmates who bring different skill sets, who also be thought-provoking and bring you to the next level of challenge that you probably have never seen in your current workplace. And speaking of experiential learning, the PMBA program is anchored by 3 professional residencies that offers an experiential learning and also just a soft skill development. And sometimes people will ask me, like, what are professional residencies exactly? How does it work? Like, am I going to companies? Am I going to, tour businesses? So the way that we design our professional residency is to bring the real world professional experience in the business world, where people are coming together to work on business cases while learning on a specific topic from different perspectives. So just like similar to the medical residencies that require graduates to work under supervision in hospitals to gain specialized clinical skills, the PMBA professional residencies is an in-person, immersive learning experience on campus, connecting you with the peers and industry leaders facilitated by our cross-discipline instructors. So there will be 3 residencies in total in the span of 2 years while you're studying in your program, and each of them will last for 8 consecutive days. I'll just quickly show you what it could look like on our program journey. So you can see that you start from your first residency in January, and then you continue with your courses for year 1. And then for year 2, you're starting again with another residency, continue on with your advanced courses. And then last residency will be either November or December before you graduate. So it will be very well designed in terms of developing different skills and also to space out so that you have the time to exercise on those skills learned in the residencies. And here are the specific topics that we usually explore for our residencies. And here's just a short video to let you know what happens during those residencies. There we go.
The PMBA residency is an opportunity for faculty, staff, but mostly students to press pause and come together in an immersive, collective, collegial experience.
The residency program has been great because we get to learn from a few different professors, and not only are we learning about what they have to say, but we're learning a skill.
What is changing in the nature of your team? It could be the configuration, it could be the nature of the work, it could be the nature of supervision, it could be technology. What does that mean? And what possibilities emerge from that configuration.
I literally would go to class on the weekend, learn, come back to work on Monday and be like, okay, how do we build this team? What kind of processes do we want? And then you just get to ask those questions in class, which is so unique.
Knowing and understanding the motivations surrounding the negotiation is fundamental to success in negotiation.
The teachers are super engaging, and so you feel like you really learn a lot.
Largely because we're just playing with this case, but you can see what happens as you start case discussion. Different opinions, different perspectives. Each of the people that spoke have different background, different knowledge, and they're all making good points. I thought all points were outstanding here, right? A good leader is able to understand it's just not a black and white frame ever.
Set me an objective. Give me the tools that I need in order to achieve that objective, and then help me if I'm finding barriers. That's great management. That's great leadership.
Both Rob and John are very engaging. They have a very strong presence in the lecture room, so it's easy to forget that you're in a gigantic space. You just kind of get drawn into what they're saying, which is really nice.
So the first thing I want you to do in your teams, have a conversation together. And I want you to decide in your team who is the most charismatic person and who is the least charismatic person. And yes, I am putting your group in an uncomfortable situation, and yes, I'm doing that on purpose. And this is an opportunity and hopefully a safe space that's been created to try something risky, to take a chance, to do something that they wouldn't normally do. And then they can feel a little more comfortable with doing that in the future in a workplace context.
For me, the most rewarding classes were the ones where you learn something totally different than the course topic. That was really led by the experienced professors who can bring it from that level of the frameworks to actually applying it and making it tactical at work.
You are now a member of a global team, a global alumni group, and I think that will serve you throughout the rest of your career.
It's always my favorite moment to watch these residency videos, the highlights from every year, because you get to see how creative people will be and how fun it is. These instructors design those exercises during the residencies. This year we've seen there was one exercise that they do is for how do you motivate other people to complete things or to do a project. And I've seen people posted videos on LinkedIn, like trying to convince just a random person on campus to do push-ups with them. But like the example that they come up with is just, it's fantastic. And after I talk to them during my coffee chats, and I usually visit them after they finish residency one, you just see the difference in terms of confidence, in terms of like how good they feel after the first residency. It's just amazing. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about how this program is going to give you the global reach as well, because you will not only get the professional residency experience at UBC, you will also get the opportunities to expand your reach globally through the UBC Sauder network, including our GNAM courses, summer study abroad, and the UBC Yale dual degree program. UBC Sauder is a proud member of the global network of advanced management, which we call the GNAM network, which is a prestigious collaboration of 33 graduate schools around the world, including Yale, Oxford, UC Berkeley, Hong Kong UST, etc. So if you want, feel free to Google, what is the GNAP network and what schools are in it, and you will find a lot of really good business schools in that network. So in this program, in your second year, you will have the chance to take some of the global network courses, including in-person and online courses based on your schedule. So I'll just show you some examples of the school that you could participate. Essentially, what you will do is in your second year, you will choose a school that you are interested in, and depending on if you choose the in-person or online, you will also be able to see what courses they offer in advance so that you can plan out which ones you want to choose. And the highlight or the special part here is that UBC is the only Canadian school that is part of this network, which is quite unique. And this is the exclusive experience that you won't be able to get from any other Canadian universities. And if you're curious about, how can I be participating in this and what options do I have, I'll just give you a very quick snapshot of what global opportunities that you will be able to choose. So we have 3 types in total. The GNAM SNOCs, it means it's the GNAM Small Network Online courses, which means that you choose a school that works for your time zone and you're just taking the classes online. You could also choose the GNAM Week, which is a 1-week in-person opportunity that always happen in March or June. So usually our student experience team will have an info session kind of in November the year before, so that you understand how it works, so that you can submit your choices. We also have an option called the Summer Study Abroad. This is also an in-person opportunity. So anywhere between May and August, you will choose 2 to 3 weeks to join a member school to experience their courses in person. And for any people who are interested in our dual degree with Yale University, this is also available for our PMBA students, but it is going to be a separate program, which means that you will have to be admitted by Yale and you will have to attend the Yale part after you graduate from our PMBA program at UBC, so that you will have to go to the US for the duration of that program in person. And in terms of the things that happen outside of your classroom, I know that these courses all sound very exciting, but we also work very hard to provide you the support that you need outside of the classrooms. So our Business Career Center offer our students personalized career coaching, which means that you will be able to have a very customized one-on-one coaching once you start your program. And you can see that among our graduating classes in 2023 and 2024, 79% of the students enhance their career while still in the program, which means it's before they even graduate, before ending the program in 2 years, they have already either made a promotion or they have expanded their portfolio, or maybe a raise, or sometimes they could have been, jumped into a bigger company or a bigger industry, whatever way that is. But this number shows that our students have been making a lot of progress since they start the program, because they have been utilizing our career services towards their benefit. And our Business Career Center, they play a very critical role in the PMBA program. On top of the one-on-one career coaching, they also offer you the networking opportunities, the career fairs, and you'll also have access to our mentorship programs, exclusive company panels, and valuable industry insights, and much more. Okay, moving on to the logistics. In terms of the program delivery, one of the kind of biggest feedback that I've got from our current cohort when they finish their residency 1 is that they really appreciate how flexible and how accessible our program has been. So you might be someone who's busy, you're a busy working professional, or you might be someone with a young family, but you still want to make sure that you're working towards your career advancement, or someone who are outside of the greater Vancouver area, but wanting the world-class UBC experience. We do have all the options for you. So now I'm going to explain to you how does our class schedule look like and how can you choose between the in-person and online stream to fit your needs. So I'll show you first of all, the in-person class schedule, what it could look like if you are interested in the in-person stream. So imagine your semester to be a 10 weeks long semester, which means that every 10 weeks, you're going to start 2 new courses at the same time. So if you look at the schedule here from week 1 to week 10, you are on campus in person for both Saturdays and Sundays on alternative weekends, which means 1 week on, 1 week off. And after 5 weeks, you are going to have 2 weeks of break, and then you're going to have a week of exam, which will be online, even if you are in the in-person stream, and then 2 more weeks of break, and then you're going to rinse and repeat for the next 2 courses. In terms of the online schedule, the pace looks a little bit different. So from week 1 to week 10, the first 5 weeks, you're going to have weekday evening classes from 6 to 9:30, which is Tuesday and Thursday evenings. So every week, Tuesday and Thursday for 5 weeks, you're just going to power through all the courses. and then you have 1 week of break, and then you're going to have your online exam, and then 3 weeks of break before you start the next 2 set of courses. So essentially, I'll flip back to the in-person schedule again, just to let you see the difference. The in-person pace is a little bit slower, but you do have to come on campus in person for the whole day for Saturday and Sundays every other week. And online classes are going to be on weekday evenings. So for any folks who are not in the Pacific time zone, make sure that you are paying attention. If you're in the East Coast, this means that you're going to have a later evening, which could be fine for you. But if you want to go to bed early, maybe consider this for another layer. And for anybody who's trying to decide which stream is better, essentially it depends on your learner style. Because usually for people who are trying to decide, I usually ask them, what kind of learner are you? Are you someone who needs to sit in the classroom without any distractions from home? You want to put your hand up right away and get your answers right away, and you be able to kind of connect with your peers face to face? Or you're someone who really want that flexibility of staying at home and being able to complete your degree, for the majority part at home without having to commute to campus every other week. And you're totally fine with staying in front of a laptop for, 3.5 hours after a long workday. So ask yourself that question before you decide. And if you are, we need more guidance, you can always book a chat with me. I'm happy to walk you through on that. And just to show you a little bit more of how we deliver the online courses, I'm going to show you a short video on the online classes, which are going to be delivered in our Sauder studio, which is quite fun.
My name is Darren Dell, and I'm the Dean at the UBC Sauder School of Business.
I want to show you a little bit behind the curtain to see what really happens in this new online environment. I want you to take a look at what I see when I'm actually teaching here behind the Lightboard. So come on over. Here in the Lightboard studio, you can see the setup that we have 2 screens in front of the professor. One that has, images of me in the class, as well as the chat function, so we can see the dialogue that's happening in real time. On the left side, you see the PowerPoint deck. Right in front of me is the Lightboard. And this enables me to write, draw, equations, you name it, as I teach the class. Let's take a look at a few of the other studios, just to see what else we can learn about this online experience. The second studio is the Loft Studio. Why do we call it the Loft Studio? Because it features this Loft technology, an interactive board, right, that has the PowerPoint up on it that you can draw on, cross things out, put in equations, and when you're ready to, erase it and start again. One of the best things in all of our studios is the ability to see our students, to interact with them online, just like we're in a real classroom. And there you have it, the behind the curtain look at the Sauder Studios. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you in the online classroom soon.
All right, so I'll move on with some of the comparison between what our classes will look like. If you're wondering, how will my life look like going into the program, I've kind of listed kind of the first 3 months of the program just to give you an example of what the difference might look like in terms of the in-person and online. So if you look at the January, February, March calendar for 2027, for the in-person class, of course, your first residency will start on the second Saturday of January. It lasts for 8 days, so it finishes on the third Saturday of January. And then the classes will be over the weekend, every other week. And I've also listed the holidays here. And the online class would look like this. So in January, all the residencies look exactly the same because we have everybody will have to join the mandatory in-person residency, but the online classes will be on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings. And then the dark blue blocks are the exam dates. So this could be the difference or the slight difference between the in-person and online and the impact for your calendar. If you're just curious. I'm going to talk just a few minutes more. I know that it's in 30 minutes, so the food is sinking in. You might be, falling asleep a little bit, so maybe stand up and take a few steps. But after all that details about the program, our faculties, the schedules and everything, you might be wondering, this program sounds amazing. I really want to get in. How do I start? What is the requirement? So as Rodrigo mentioned, our application for 2027 has opened since this morning. So if you're really eager, start creating your account and you could start your applications starting right now. And I'm going to walk you through on the admissions requirements, which you will be able to find on our website. So I'm going to ask Mikun from our team to just throw in that link in the chat box so that people can click on it. Essentially, the requirements are we look at your academic achievement, your previous degrees, bachelor's degree, if you have a master's degree, throw that in as well. And we have a requirement for the GMAT or GRE score. We also have the waiver request available if you don't have the score ready. We require 2 years minimum work experience post-grad and also minimum 2 professional references. There will also be a few written and video essays as part of the application. And we do require for English proficiency test scores if your degree was not done in an English-speaking country. And for anyone who are shortlisted, we'll also invite you for an online admission interview. Okay, I'll walk you through on more of these later, but I'll quickly show you what the deadlines will look like for this year. So we do offer a rolling base admission, which means that technically you don't have to follow these dates kind of strictly. If you miss it by 1 day, that's no problem, as long as you submit it before the end of the cycle, which is the September 22nd final round application deadline. And we do have the supporting documents, which means that all your references, your transcripts, your test scores will need to be in before October 6th, and all the official documents will need to be submitted by November 30th. But for anybody who might have seen our website before, we do offer the entrance scholarships. So you don't have to submit any separate applications. These are automatically considered when you submit your applications. And you will probably see it from our website that each of the scholarship has a deadline as well. So if you want to be considered for these scholarships, make sure that your applications are submitted and also completed before the deadline. So for any of the details, you should be able to find it on our website. And I'm also happy to walk you through in our coffee chats as well. And in terms of the expenses or tuition for this program, I also have listed here. You'll also be able to find it on our website. And usually for applicants who are, asking like, how can I be ready for this program? Either it's financially, like how do I support myself, or how do I get funding for this? Usually our recommendation is, once you think about starting the program, it's better that you make a financial plan, especially with different scenario. So for example, if you do get a scholarship, if you get a small portion of the scholarship, what does your financial plan look like? If you don't get a scholarship at all, what does your financial plan look like? If you get any employer support for your professional development funding, how does your financial plan look like? So make sure that you make a few different versions so that you are ready to commit when the offer comes in. And also our tuition is only due before the semester starts, so you don't have to pay everything up front. The only payment that is due quite soon after you get your offer will be a $5,000 deposit to hold your seat. And afterwards, it's every 4 months that you're only paying for that semester. All right, so now I'm going to walk you through on how do you submit your application in case some of you might be eager that you want to start your applications quite soon. So once you go on our website today, and once you choose the PMBA program on the right top corner, you should be able to see Apply Now. That will take you to the application website, and you should be able to create your account. So make sure that you do that. If you have an account from before, you can just use that one, and you can just add a new application. Make sure that you choose the correct start date, which is the January 2027. You do have to choose either the in-person or online stream to start the application, and it will take you to the rest of the page, which is to get started. So the entire application process should be, after you create your account, you choose the program, you will need to fill out your personal information, upload all your documents, make sure you remind your references so that they have to submit their answers as well. And once we start reviewing, for those who are shortlisted, you will be receiving an admission interview invite. And then we'll start the reviewing process. It could be anywhere between 3 to 8 weeks. And once you get your offer, if you're admitted, you will need to accept your offer in the 2 weeks afterwards. And just a few things to pay attention to once you start your application. So these are the things that are listed as part of the application. So the first couple ones are quite straightforward. You just fill out all your information. And once you go to the standardized tests, so for any of you who have the GMAT or GRE score, make sure that when you submit your screenshots for the score, it needs to have your name on it. For anyone who's submitting their waiver request, please be noted that we will only review your waiver request after your application is submitted. So in your application portal, it could say pending, but don't worry too much about that. We'll review the document once it's submitted and completed. And for professional background, you can fill out any professional background that you have done, but we will only count the full-time postgraduate work experience, 2 years minimum. And for the references part, once you save their contact information in the system will trigger the email to be sent to them automatically. So feel free to give them a heads up so they're not surprised, but also to remind them that they should be submitting their answers so that your application can be complete. When you go to the composition part, there will be one short answer, a long answer, and also one video essay question. Make sure that you upload the final video link and also take your time to think about those answers. There's no rush. And of course, afterwards, you just do the application declaration. And once you are at the application fee and submission part, this could be a little tricky because in the past, we had applicants who have paid the application fee but forgot to click submit. Please make sure that you do hit the submit button. Afterwards, all your documents will need to be uploaded under the review supporting document section, right? And in terms of how long it might take for you to get an answer from us, so I've listed the stages that would happen, which is from the date that you submit your application until the day that you receive your offer and start the program. So for this part, from your submission until the review starts, there might be a few days that we're just waiting for your documents, for your references to submit their answers. So this is within your control. So, take your time or make sure that you do finish them right away. And once we start the review process, from the review starts to interview invite, it could be between 1 to 4 weeks. After the interview to results, it could be 2 to 4 weeks. And after you receive your results, if you're admitted, you have 2 weeks to accept your offer. So this is how the timeline works. And you could definitely make sure that your calendar is working with this timeline. All right. I'm going to give you a QR code here as well in case you have more questions later that you want to talk to me more about. So we do have both in-person advising and virtual advising. In-person advising will happen at Robson Square every Tuesday. So make sure that you book an appointment, and virtual advising will be ongoing. So whenever you see a time that works for you, feel free to book one. And thank you very much for joining. And it's been a great time. And hopefully I'll chat with you again and hopefully to see your application coming in soon. All right. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.